Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making crumb-coated chicken, and for this recipe I'm going to start by preparing my breadcrumbs. I had shared a recipe on how to make breadcrumbs earlier, but that's a different method. This is a slightly different one. I have shared the link to that particular recipe in the description box below. So I'm going to start by drying out my slices of bread on the pan. You could use a toaster if you want to, but keep the color at a minimum because we need to brown chicken pieces much later in the recipe. So I'm going to start by making sure that all the moisture has been eliminated from my slices of bread. I check for how dry they are by doing this. Once they're nice and dry, I'm going to lift them off the pan, cut them to pieces and grind them. This is usually a very short process. It takes only a few minutes, and I prefer to do just enough to use it a go. My crumbs are ready. So my ingredients here are flour, an egg, which I'm going to start by whisking, making sure that I've broken down that yolk and mixed it with the white. Over here I have my salt, chili powder, curry powder and garlic. I also have my and drained chicken. On the other side I have my flour, my egg and my breadcrumbs. I'm going to start by pouring my mixed spices into the chicken. Then I'm going to massage that thoroughly into all the pieces, making sure the flavors and the chicken are well mixed. Take your time at this stage. We don't want to leave out any pieces. Just make sure all the pieces have been well coated with your ingredients. You can actually take the time to marinate that. Give it a few minutes before you start coating. That is optional though. You could also boil your chicken first, particularly if you're using free-range chicken. Mine is a broiler, so it cooks really fast. That's why I have not boiled them. The purpose of flour at this stage is to coat the chicken such that no excess oil gets into the chicken, and also to keep the moisture from the chicken inside, so that once your chicken is ready, it is still moist and tender on the inside, but then it is crispy on the outside where we have breadcrumbs. So from the flour, I'll dip it into the egg. The purpose of the egg is to serve as a glue for the breadcrumbs. Without the egg, the breadcrumbs will not stay in place, so make sure your chicken is well coated in the egg once you have dusted it with your flour. I'm basically going to repeat the process for all the pieces. Once that is done, I'll make sure that each piece is well coated with the breadcrumbs, because this is what is going to determine the color and texture of the eventual pieces. So I just want to make sure that each piece has breadcrumbs everywhere that we have the eggs to begin with. Again, I repeat the process for all my pieces. Once that is done, we are ready to fry. I'm going to pour some cooking oil into my pan and give it a few minutes to preheat. Once that is done, I'm going to gently and carefully add my pieces one at a time. If you've noticed the oil is not very hot, I'm using low heat. I like to make sure my cheese is cooked to the inside before I start focusing on browning it. So I start with very minimum heat. Give my chicken time to cook. During this process, I like to turn it over regardless of color and make sure that all the sides are cooked. I keep turning them until there's no more blood flowing from the chicken. Once the blood that's been flowing out is dry, then I'll know that the chicken is cooked, and then I'm going to give it time to brown. So I'll keep turning again until I get the shade of brown that I want. I like a nice golden brown. It usually looks very delicious, very appealing. Once the chicken is ready, I lift it off the pan and it is ready to serve. You could garnish it as you want. I like to sprinkle some fresh spring onions, and then I serve it with a dipping sauce.